Welcome to the Orlando Injector channel, where we talk all things aesthetics, from injectables to business, complications to confidence, and everything in between. Even with all of my years of experience, I don't pretend to know it all, and that's what this series is all about. I'm bringing you the experts, the pros in their niche, to ask the raw, unfiltered questions that we're all dying to ask. And I am so excited to bring you guys our very first guest, Jared Rohrer. If you guys don't know this man, you are living under an aesthetic rock, because he is the marketing guru of our industry. Let me tell you a little bit about this man. He is the CEO of Aesthetic Conversion, a web agency that specializes in serving the med spa and plastic surgery community. With 10 years of experience in this industry, Jared has become a recognized thought leader in the field, regularly speaking at conferences both domestic and international. He is also key opinion leader for Galderma, SkinCeuticals, and Revision Skincare. Born and raised in California, Jared is a family man who is married and has a daughter and son who are the most beautiful family ever.
Aw.
Outside of work, he is deeply committed to philanthropy and has a passion for helping orphans in impoverished countries. He is also an accomplished musician, playing piano and singing at Dueling Piano Bar in his free time. His diverse talents, dedication to his craft, and commitment to making a difference in the world make him an inspiring figure both in his professional and personal life. So welcome, Jared.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have you come with me everywhere I go. You're just going to, anytime I meet somebody, I'm going to have you bust out the cards and say, okay, hold on. Before you and Jared start
And
talking,
cue.
I have to tell you a few things about him. Oh my gosh. This is so great. Thank you. It was a very sweet introduction.
Thank you
I feel
for
honored and
joining.
blessed. And our kids know each other too, for the record. Our children are buddies. Our
They
daughters are the
are
same
buddies.
exact age, right? Or your daughter's a little bit, like a few months
Nearly.
older.
August 1st, she'll be 4 this Friday.
I was like a month older. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fun. In fact, Monica just asked me that. She goes, "Can you ask Alexis when her daughter's birthday is?" I'm pretty sure she told me it was in August. So
Friday.
she's scheming. She's scheming something.
They're growing so fast.
Yeah. Well, you're crushing it here. You're crushing it here. And I loved your tagline too for the channel. That was really good. That was very, very good.
First
Very
one,
good.
guys. So
Excellent.
I have all of my questions here. I'm well prepared. And just to kick it off, I want you to dive into explaining exactly what aesthetic conversion does and what they offer.
Yeah. So my whole philosophy on marketing is that there are 4 stages. There's fascination, which is eyeballs on your business; acquisition, which is turning those eyeballs into a lead; conversion, which is selling those eyeballs; and engagement, which is re-engaging with them over and over and over for years to come. And aesthetic conversion gets you eyeballs on your business via SEO strategies and Google ad strategies. And then we convert those eyeballs into leads via a really strong web design strategy. So we offer Google ads, SEO, and web design geared to get you attention and convert that attention into new leads.
Now, because this channel is all about really just asking the raw questions that people might be afraid to ask, I'm priding myself on the fact that I don't want these to be cheesy interviews. So I have no idea really can you break it down for the newer injector just starting
Yeah.
out, what SEO even means?
Yeah, that's a great question. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, and there are multiple search engines on the internet. The primary one that a web agency like me would work on is the Google search engine. When you type in Botox near me, Botox in Orlando, or Dysport in Orlando, who comes up first? And generally, whoever's coming up first has some sort of a strategist that is getting them to rank and outrank their local competition, especially if you're in a competitive city. If you're in an Orlando or a New York or a San Francisco or an LA, anybody who's on that first page, they've got teams dedicated to getting them on that first page. Now, there's other search engines too. There's social media search engines. Like, a lot of people are using social to search for things. There's the YouTube search engine, which you are taking full advantage of here. Now there's AI search engines, when people are searching everything via ChatGPT these days, where they're asking Chat, who's the best injector in Orlando? And so our team has strategies to make you show up, kind of, obviously not in social media. We're not managing that, but with AI search engines, we have strategies around that too. We're seeing a lot of clients start to get great exposure there too. So SEO is search engine optimization, showing up when people are asking the ether, asking the internet about you.
And that's so interesting because even with the name the Orlando Injector, if you Google the Orlando Injector, and I'm somebody who hasn't really poured money into SEO yet, and I need to, and that's why I'm so excited about this conversation. But even when you Google Orlando Injector, I don't come up until maybe the
Crazy,
bottom of page 1, and you could really see who is pouring money into SEO. Because me, even with the brand name, the Orlando Injector, what does pop up first is my Instagram. But as far as Google optimization, those Google searches, other people pop up way before me because they're investing in their marketing and SEO, right?
Right. Yeah, because they're investing into marketing SEO. They have a much more rich collection of data on their website. There's just a bigger volume that Google is indexing, and they're like, these are probably what you're actually looking for. There's a lot of businesses that will strategically buy SEO rich names for their business, not realizing that, like, yes, that is a factor. Like, they'll be like, oh my gosh, Orlando Med Spa, or whatever med spa, city name med spa. They're like, that's going to be the thing that sets me in stone. And it definitely gives you a leg up. Like, it's great that if you can get something like that, but you do also have to do the work.
Right. And I'm a prime example of that. I have the name, but I mean, my Instagram pops up, which tells me that my Instagram has more engagement than my website does. But it'll be interesting to see over time when I really invest in SEO and marketing where I land on that page, especially with the brand name, the Orlando Injector.
Yeah, and you have a high volume of content on you have a way higher volume of content on the Orlando Injector page than you do on your website. You have much more for Google to be like, oh, this is probably where you want to be.
So for a brand new injector, so somebody fresh out the gate, really wanting to build their brand and build their business and build awareness around their business, but they don't have a strong budget. They have a very small budget. What's the number one thing that they should put their money towards?
Put their cash towards? We're talking about somebody who who essentially they want to be a solo injector. They want to be an intrapreneur. They're working for somebody else's business.
This is somebody, let's say, in a salon suite that is a brand new injector, really starting out, wanting to build their own business, but doesn't have a strong budget to put towards marketing yet.
Got it. Yeah. So first of all, as far as marketing budget goes, in your first year, Maven can back this up a bit too, because usually this is what they will advise. In your first year, oftentimes, just bear in mind, you're about 15 to 20% of your profit, at least in your first year of business, should be going towards marketing. All you should be doing in the beginning is getting that engine cranking so that you can build momentum. Now, what I'll say is if you are low on cash, there's lots of free ways that you can market. There's lots of things that you can do that whether or not you are paying somebody to do that thing, you're going to get very similar results. However, there are some other things that, in my opinion, if you try to do that yourself, you're just going to kick yourself in the shins and you're going to lose out on tons of business. And I personally believe that if you have to invest cash into something for marketing, that it should be your website. First and foremost, it's your digital storefront. It'd be the equivalent. This is the equivalent of somebody saying, "Oh, I'll just build my clinic myself," and it's like, no, like don't. No. It's gonna crumble. Now maybe I'm gonna decorate my clinic myself. Sure, fine. But straight up building it, you would look at them like they're crazy. And your website is your digital storefront. So in my opinion, because you're going to be doing all these other things for free, you're going to be building referral partnerships, building your social media, doing YouTube, doing all these things to drive attention to your business. The last thing you want is to have some homemade page that is just immediately making people be like, oh, this is not a professional, not interested. No, thank you. So if you're going to invest cash, in my opinion, I would throw the cash into the site and then use tons of other free outlets for getting the exposure.
And I couldn't agree more. I think a website, even from maybe a consumer standpoint, when I go to somebody's website and I see that it looks luxurious, it looks clean, it looks elevated, that is their brand. It's a representation of them before they even meet you, right? So it matters. And doing those cookie cutter websites, the plug and chug websites may be great at first, but I feel like once you really get a good cash cushion investing in a solid website, and I know you guys offer a great option for somebody who maybe just wants a like basic standard but beautiful website, don't you?
It's all we do. So all we do is work with med spas and plastic surgeons. So our costs are way lower because that's all we do. So if we're working with somebody who's just starting their site, to build and develop, to design and develop a site, you're looking at somewhere around like $2,000. Some other agencies are, whether they're niched or non-niched, are going to charge you 10, 15, 20, 100. Like there's such a giant range of what people bill in our space. But from what we've seen, like 2,000 makes sense right now. As of recording this video, it might go up over time, but
Sure. But that's
right now that fits for us, and
that's
it's
so important.
It's easy enough for a young clinic to afford.
Exactly.
So my heartbeat as a business owner. So I started in the industry working for Shino Bay as his executive assistant, and
he's so fabulous, isn't he?
He's wonderful. He's one of the most. I owe everything to Shino, and he's been such a big advocate for us ever since day one of me launching our company. Now, anytime somebody would send Shino a bill, if they saw that he was a doctor, they would add a 0 to the bill. And then if they saw he was a famous doctor, they would add another 0 to the bill. And I can't tell you how many times that I've worked with like creative agency coaches that are like, well, your clients can afford more. And I'm like, yeah, they earned it. Like, let them keep it. Like people want me to bill based on what my client can possibly afford. And I'm like, that is just unfair practice. And I think that's why a lot of the economy is like crap, is because everyone's trying to just bleed everyone dry around them rather than focusing on delivering value. And so for us, like I want to have the greatest impact on the most clinics possible. So we try to build our pricing model in a way that does allow us to be profitable and thrive and grow, but is affordable to the brand newest business owner as well. So that, $2,000 is still a good chunk of change for somebody who's just getting started. It still feels like a big investment, but it's not so much that they're like, oh, like I can't do it. And then they're going to what? They're going to build their own website, kick themselves in the shins, and possibly shut their business down altogether. And I don't want that.
What I've realized is that I'm the person that's like, oh, I could probably do this myself. And I end up spending so many hours trying to figure out where to put a stupid button on my website when I could have paid somebody $2,000 to just do it and do it right. So I'm learning as I get older that time is money, right? And yes, we could probably figure out how to do this ourselves, but why not hire somebody that can make it aesthetically pleasing and you can work on the other things that matter in your business? That whole mindset of working in your business versus working on your business, we need to get in the mindset as we're building and hiring marketing agencies that hire the experts that know what they're doing, because time is money. And I wish I knew that early on, because I spent hours trying to build my website when I could have just hired somebody, $2,000, and I got this sexy, beautiful website that's inviting and engaging. So, I mean, $2,000 is like 3 tox patients. So it's
exactly. It pays for itself. Like when you start getting the leads rolling through, and you also have to consider the opportunity cost. Like you build it yourself and you're like, okay, great, I saved money, but now I'm not getting conversion. Like if we work with a lot of sites that their conversion rate will be like 1% or something before we work with them, and then we'll build them a new one and they'll go up to like 9%. So they've multiplied, they've almost 10x'd their lead production, where it's like, oh my gosh, they have 10 times more revenue, 10 times, but potentially roughly 10 times more revenue just because of building that website available to them. So if their lead closure rate stinks, then we can talk about that later, but at least they're producing more volume. So you have to consider opportunity costs when you're trying to do things yourself.
It's so true. And I think when, and this is me speaking from experience, when somebody thinks about a marketing agency, they immediately think big numbers, right? Like there's no way I can afford it. I'm going to start doing that at year 5. And I was naive and just assumed I didn't start looking into marketing until now, years into it, because I just assumed I couldn't afford it. And there are so many package options, so many a la carte things that you can really work with an agency like Aesthetic Conversion to really build exactly what it is that you need for your business, right?
Yeah. And my biggest advisement is just know your numbers. If you know the numbers that you're currently hitting across the board for your business, okay, so let's learn those numbers. I think learning, okay, here's the current traffic I'm getting to my business. Here's the current conversion rate I'm getting out of my website. Here's my current sales conversion rate from lead to appointment booked. If you know those 3 magic numbers, you can determine if you need an agency. If your traffic is too low, consider hiring somebody, or maybe you just got to sweat and get all that attention. If your conversion rate on page is too low, consider hiring an agency. If your sales conversion rate, if your new leads coming in to appointment booked, if that percentage is too low, then consider hiring a front desk person to do it for you. Consider hiring some sort of a VA even to like book the appointment. If you're like, oh my gosh, I'm only booking 20% of the leads that I'm getting, there's a big problem there where it's like you would be making way more money if you hired somebody for a few grand a month to just pick up your phones. So I think like knowing your numbers at first, then you can say, okay, my traffic is low. I need to go in the market for somebody who can beef that up. Oh, my lead production on my website is low, probably because I have a low conversion rate. I need to go shop around for somebody that can beef that up. And then you, as the owner, are in the driver's seat. Then you're like, okay, great. This is the number I need to hit. Then you can hold the agency accountable to it, because there are a lot of agencies too. I don't see this a ton within our niche, but I do see it, especially with non-niched agencies, is they won't be held accountable to the right numbers. They'll just be like, oh yeah, we're just going to do a really good job. Trust me, we'll do SEO for you. And you're like, well, what kind of traffic increase are we going to have? Oh yeah, I don't know. We'll just, and they just try to like get you to the sale so that they can just get that recurring revenue. And they're not forthright. A lot of them aren't. So you knowing your numbers and what you need to get out of that relationship is critical.
I feel like a lot of, and this is again just in my experience, I feel like a lot of marketing agencies overpromise and underdeliver, and I feel like that's kind of the reputation that some get in our industry, because they promise X amount of leads and all this traffic and all this stuff, and then they underdeliver. And really, as an injector, we're not business minded, right? We're here to create beautiful results for our patients, but we don't know anything about business. So we trust these marketing agencies to do their job, and we really don't know how to read these numbers to begin with. So what would you say is something that an injector should be looking for as qualities of looking into a marketing agency, or what's like a red flag that we should stay away from if we see that a marketing agency is offering XYZ?
Yeah, I would say, so what you should be looking for is those 3 numbers. So traffic, conversion rate, or honestly, those 2 numbers, traffic and conversion rate, are the 2 biggest things with an agency. That if you can tell them, I need this much traffic, can we build a program that gets me this much? And I need this kind of a conversion rate on page. Generally, what I would say for both of those, I would say you should be shooting for somewhere in the ballpark of 400 views to your website per full-time provider of services at your clinic. So if you are a solo injector, shoot for 400. That's a great benchmark. If you're getting significantly above 400 but aren't like drowning in appointments, there's something going on. I think you specifically, the Orlando Injector, likely you would get closer to 600, 700, 800, 900 a month, but there'd be a solid split of colleagues that are checking out your work, like downloading your book and all that stuff, versus patients. So you might be in a different box than most people, but the average should be getting somewhere around 400 per full-time provider of services, regardless of what services that person provides. 400 per full schedule that you need, packed out. And then on page, your conversion rate for leads should be somewhere in the ballpark of 8%. For a thriving clinic, 5 to 8% of traffic should turn into a lead for a thriving clinic. For you, again, to pivot a little bit, for your books, I would probably want you closer to 3% conversion, because those books are a sale. So I would want you to get 3% conversion rate to maybe, 5. If you're getting 5% conversion rate on page for your books, then you're like rocking. Or if it's dramatically higher than that, then likely the traffic that's finally hitting your page is just really intent traffic. Like they're only getting there to buy. But I would shoot for like 3% to 5% for you.
We should always give an agency a period of time to build up that momentum, right? Like it's not like you immediately hire aesthetic conversion and within 2 weeks you have all this traffic and all this momentum, right? I feel like is it usually like a 90-day window that they should expect to like wait for that
Yeah.
snowball effect?
So what I always say is that you should start to see SEO results within 90 days. Like you should start within 90. We have a guarantee with our agency. You will get on the first page of Google for high value keywords within 90 days, or it's free. So if you
That's
don't hit it
insane.
if you don't hit it within 90 days, we're giving you SEO for free until you do show up. And I think there has been one time in the history of our business that we've had to be like, hey, yeah, we're going to give it to you for free for 1 month. And then like 20 days later, they were already there because it was a super competitive market. But we have never had to do that. So number one, within 90 days, you should be showing up on the first page of Google. However, what I would say is that during those next 90 days is when you're going to start feeling the result of what that does for you. That's when you're going to start having people hit your site more often, submit your forms more often. Like during the first 90 days, you're just you're getting to the point where you have the exposure. And during the next 90 days, you're capitalizing on that exposure. Google Ads, though, what I'll say, it's a faucet. It's an on-off switch. So, your first month of Google Ads, you should start seeing lead production. Your cost per lead should be somewhere in the ballpark of 60, 70, $80. And then the second month, we should be able to get those cost per leads down to, $30, $40, $50. And then by the third month, we should be able to get you leads for somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to $20 a lead. Depending on the service. Like we have a clinic in Orange County, California, that we're getting them, I think $12 weight loss leads right now for weight loss injectables. Yeah, per
And
per weight loss
especially
lead.
in our industry, that margin is huge
Awesome.
because
Yeah,
obviously
it's
they're
awesome.
going to
They're
come
fired
in.
up.
Yeah, that profit margin. I mean, that patient's going to come in and spend 10 times that. So
course,
a $12 lead is huge. I mean, I
no-brainer.
used to own gyms and we were spending $30, $40 a lead, and
For a
our
gym
memberships were only $120 a month. So it was more painful. Whereas this, we know patients are coming in purchasing neurotoxin, filler. The margin is huge. So $12 is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. So, I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. And I know, just to pivot a little bit, something I find so interesting in this industry is the insane pressure to always show up and post and be on. And it makes you feel like if you're not posting, if you're not doing all of these things and you're not relevant. What are your thoughts on this industry and marketing and that constant pressure to show up or else you lose relevancy?
Yeah. So what I'll say is that that pressure for social media is real. Social media performs really well, so it's hard for me to tell people you don't have to. But what I will say is that so that number, that 400, web visits per full-time provider of services, I don't care how you get that. If you want to get that through social media, wonderful. If you hate social media more than anything in the world and you're like, I don't ever want to be on Instagram, no problem. You just have to get that 400. If you get that 400 through referral partnerships, through billboards, through magazines, I don't care how you get it. Do I think one of the easiest ways to get that traffic is social media? Yes. I think Instagram is outperforming almost every other marketing channel when you have good momentum built for it. But I'll say that if something is stressing you out a ton, then maybe reconsider whatever that plan is, and just know that the end is, did I get the right amount of eyeballs on my business? Because I think the most strenuous part of social media management for most people is they ask themselves a question. They always say, for what? For what? Why am I doing this? Or they'll do it and they won't get leads. And they're like, oh my gosh, what's the point? And it's like, if you're doing it and not getting any leads, it's like, what is the point? You shouldn't be. If you are getting nothing out of, and if you're working at it for months and months and getting nothing out of social, you have to pivot the strategy, or stop doing it, because you are killing yourself at that point. It's like, what is the point? Now, we had this, we have this sweet clinic that we work with, and they post on social all the time. And they're like, oh yeah, we're getting pretty good engagement, but we're not getting leads from it. Nothing ever showed up on their monthly reports from social. And then we just told them one little thing. We said, hey, do you add links in your stories ever? They're like, no. Try doing that this month and see what happens. And their traffic from their social 10x'd. And I was like, you just finally told them what to do, So they put links in their stories and said, click here to book, and tons did. and it worked like gangbusters for them. So sometimes like you might feel like you're spinning your tires, but that there's like one little trick that just gets them to finally take action.
I
So
think
what,
I think what's important for injectors is when we first start out, we don't really know what we want our brand to be, right? Where it kind of organically evolves as you grow as an injector. And I remember starting out during COVID, and I remember watching Shelby Miller do these amazing dancing videos all through COVID, and she was fantastic. And I remember doing a dancing video as an injector in my scrubs, and I looked at myself and I was like, stop. Like, you are not the dancing injector. This is not you. She thrives. She's so entertaining and captivating and stunning, but it's not me, right? And that kind of evolves over time. And I've realized over time that I love sitting and just chatting. I love sitting and sharing my experiences. And I've shifted towards being more of that educator presence on social media, mixed in with a little bit of personal, but really that's how I feel most comfortable showing up. And I think it's important that as you evolve as an injector, you can take little tips and tricks and look at other people's examples, but at the end of the day, your style kind of organically comes together over time. So maybe removing that pressure as a new injector from feeling like you have to know exactly how you want to show up, and kind of just keep showing up every day on social media and seeing what your audience is drawn to, and then doing a little bit more of that, and it kind of just grows over time. And I just realized nobody wants to see me sing and dance on social media, right?
Yes, we do. Thing. Yes, we all do. We all want to hear you. We all want to hear you sing and dance.
Nobody's gonna watch me play a piano like you on social media.
I don't know. You haven't tried it. I'll say the same thing, is that with your content strategy, your whole goal should just be, how do I add value to my audience? And in Shelby's case, when she was building that presence during COVID, it's like, great, they are valuing the entertainment that I'm giving them. So like in that case, like the entertainment was the value. I'm sure she provides lots of education. She's a very intelligent woman, but the entertainment was like the primary driver during that season, and there might be a season of your social media presence where there is an entertainment factor, where it's like, because I would argue that like you posting workout videos and things like that, and posting the fitness side and the grind, like there's an entertainment / inspiration side to that that's not just education, but that's like what you thrive at, having a rock solid family and having a really incredible like discipline for yourself. So it's kind of finding those pillars that matter for you.
Yeah, it's so true. Those pillars are key. But for me, I remember my pillars were different in the beginning, and they have changed over time. And I always joke that my whole strategy is just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. But it's true. It really sums up exactly how I have kind of transitioned or moved through this aesthetic space, because I really didn't know who I wanted to show up as. But it's so important to have that website. It's so important to have that social media, because if you're not posting, then the patient, and correct me if I'm wrong in thinking this, if I'm not showing up on social media, if I'm not showing up with my best website possible, then the injector down the street, even if they don't have as much experience or knowledge as you, is going to capture that patient, because the patient doesn't know the difference between you or the injector down the street's experience. No. All they see is who's showing up in that camera or on their phone, right?
Yeah, you got to earn it. You got to earn it. You've earned nothing to this person that doesn't know you. You got to earn it. And maybe like with your consistency and your talent to your existing patients, you've earned it. But to the new ones, no, they don't know you from Adam. And they don't care. I had a clinic, case in point, that they asked us, hey, can we change our autoresponder, the text that goes out to our patients when they request an initial consultation? I said, what do you want to change it to? I've told this story so many times. What do you want to change it to? They say, well, we just want to add a little disclaimer that says, please allow 24 to 48 hours for us to respond and to your initial lead request. And I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. Those patients don't know you and don't care about you. Then maybe they do, but they don't know you yet, nor do they really care about you, they will have been treated by your competitor by the time you text them back. If you're taking 48 hours every time, they're like, oh, well, what do we do? I was like, hire more people. Like if you are so slammed that you can't get back to somebody in 2 days, that's awesome. Like bring on the growth, baby. So I think oftentimes people will think that they've earned this, this name with new people when they haven't yet. You know, you have to earn it every time.
I heard a number once that said like you have 6 minutes to respond or they're going to forget about you, which is so
true.
extreme. But the reality is we're in this world of like instant gratification, right? So if they can't book immediately, they're going to be like, all right, I just want to book this and get it off my list. So let me go drop down to the next Google search person.
Exactly. If they don't hear back within a couple hours, they're like, well, I guess they're not available, and they'll go with somebody else. Even though you're like, oh, I'm going to get to them. It's like, no, get to them right now as fast as you can.
Can you walk me through how you orient a new client, how you set up everything? Like what does their introduction, what should they expect from it? Because I've had multiple interviews with all marketing agencies and they're throwing so many things at me. Like walk me through what an introductory session with a new client would look like for you guys.
Yeah. So somebody starts working with us kind of a thing. Like what do we do next?
Right.
Well, so we'll identify where they're currently getting traffic from, what their current marketing strategies are, so that we can really set the pace for what we're going to be able to add value to during that process. And usually we'll identify that a little bit in the sales process, because they're usually committing to like, okay, great, this is the kind of growth I can get with you guys. And then we'll take a client's brand. They'll usually send us their brand book and all that stuff. And we'll make sure that anything that we design and build looks just like them. So we take their brand book and we make sure that that we've got that. And then we will identify similar websites that they like for vibes. What I will say too is during this process, a lot of people will be like, oh, do I need to take a big old photo shoot and have this giant thing done for my site?
It's so true. Everybody thinks that.
They wonder that. And I'm gonna qualify this and say, yes, it's a great idea. And I know in my heart that it's better. But what I'll say is that the numbers for us, from what we've seen, that there is no dramatic conversion rate difference between websites with custom content and websites with stock imagery. There is
That's interesting.
There is no major indicator from what we have seen that stock imagery matters at all for conversion rate. Now, do I believe that people with tons of custom imagery have better retention rates? Yes, because you're in this branded ecosystem that feels much more. I think those people have a stronger community and have built better retention. Does it make a huge difference for getting that person over the goal line? Not that I've seen. So we will work with your brand, and whether or not you have tons of pictures, we will build you a website that converts at a super high percentage. And then we're just tracking every month. So we have monthly meetings with our clients and we say, okay, great. Here's exactly what happened this last month. This number looks a little low. This number looks perfect. This number looks really high. Why is it that you got so much? We had one client last month who had like this, like, insane. They're not using us for Google ads and they're using somebody else for Google ads and meta ads. And the traffic from both of them, we were like, this is ungodly high. Like, what is going on? And sure enough, our team met and the person is just frivolously throwing 10 grand into ad spend without knowing what's happening. And they weren't getting conversion out of those ads the way that they needed to. So our team went in and did some surgery. So I think a lot of the value of working with us comes from those monthly meetings of us identifying, here's what happened, here's where we need to grow next, and here's our advisement on what needs to happen from your side moving forward, as well as here's what we're going to tweak and change to help you continue to win.
I think just becoming educated on those key numbers that you talked about will help build that confidence in working with an agency like you guys, because for me, I know it's scary when I don't know what I'm talking about, and I feel like it's just a lot of numbers and CPU and all these things and all these this new vocabulary that I'm not familiar with. So I just kind of glitch, and I'm just like, I can't do this because if I don't see immediate conversion, I don't want to spend the money. But understanding it takes time to build. it takes time to grow that relationship with the agency so that they know your site and all the moving parts of your business. And I feel like if you just sit in that and give it a little bit of time, it really is so powerful for your business.
Well, and I'll say if you have zero cash whatsoever and you're paying for like you should never look to a marketing agency as your last resort to stay in business. And like, can we help people who are in emergency mode? Sure. But do I want to be looked at as marketing Jesus for these people? No. Because generally, if we're in that position, there's a lot of other things that are not working in the business. It's not just marketing that's failing. It's generally like, oh, we're also not getting back to leads very quickly. When we treat people, it's not very smooth. We don't have an outreach program for reaching out back to patients to get them. There's a lot of things that are typically missing. And usually when businesses like that come to me and they're like, you're my last hope, I'm usually like, let's pump the brakes then, because there's a few other things that you have got to tighten up as a business owner if you hope to stay in business. And I cannot be your last hope.
I think that's so powerful. And I think outside of the person that's in that emergency mode, but somebody who really just wants to take their business to the next level, like me, like I feel like I've done as much as I can by myself, and now it's time to hire the big guns. I feel like I'm ready to take it to the next level and really bring in the experts such as yourself to take me there without losing so much time along the way. And so I want to wrap it up with one question. What would you say is your one marketing ick or trend that you wish would go away?
So my biggest ick that I see on a regular basis is people over relying on influencers to tell them what to do, because they don't know enough of their own business. So we'll say, oh, well, I just follow so-and-so and I just do exactly what so-and-so says. And it's like, well, then if you fail, whose fault is it? They're gonna be like, oh, well, I tried so-and-so stuff, it didn't work. And it's like, no, you didn't know your stuff. And so I think the deflection of saying, oh, I'm just gonna do exactly what this person says, rather than studying and knowing what's important in business. Then when we enter, absolutely, somebody gives you a great tip on Instagram, wonderful. But if somebody gives you a crap tip, you can identify it and be like, oh no. So I think my biggest ick, because as far as trends go, I think everything works, unfortunately. Like dance videos, great. I think it's awesome. It's a branding thing if somebody doesn't want to do it. If someone's like, oh, well, I would never. It's like, perfect. It's not your brand, but somebody else would. Sheila Barbarino, I love her dance videos. I think they're awesome. You know, whoever, Dr. Rivkin wants to do them, I love it. Whoever wants to do dance videos, wonderful. And if somebody doesn't want to do dance videos, wonderful. So marketing trends in general, they come, they go, take advantage of them and ride the wave, whatever. That's a blast. But don't rely on these influencers to tell you, because most of them are just trying to sell you a course, by the way. They're like, oh, I make so much money and blah, 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 blah. It's like, you're making so much money that you have to sell a course. You know, it's like, I think oftentimes like these like marketing influencers that are selling courses, usually they're failed marketers. Like, you know what I mean? Like they had a giant business, they probably wouldn't.
I remember when I first started out as an injector, I had a couple people reach out to me that had like 1 million followers, right? And I was like, sure, like I'll inject your lips for free if you post about me. And I realized their 1 million followers could be based out of Dubai. That's not going to help me whatsoever. Maybe I got 50 follows from that, but at the end of the day, I don't care what my follower count is. It's how many tushies can I get in my chair, right? So a 1 million follower influencer is actually a waste of time. I lost product and I lost time. So it cost me a lot. Now, I work with 2 influencers only, and they're both Orlando based. One is, her Instagram is the Cheat Day Orlando, and she does all things Orlando. And the other one is a dear friend of mine that owns a Pilates studio, was a bartender for like 15 years in the bar industry. She knows everybody and anything in Orlando. Those 2 influencers directly convert people into my chair, and those influencers are powerful. The micro ones I find to be more powerful than the $1 million ones.
That's what I was going to ask, is how big are their audiences?
One is the Cheat Day Orlando. Andrea Sage she's exploded in Orlando. She's one of my best friends, and I've seen her go from 1 follower to 75, and now Royal Caribbean's offering her cruises and stuff. Like, she's exploded. But Her audience is Orlando. She has 75,000 followers, but somebody in Jersey isn't following Cheat Day Orlando,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then my Pilates girl, I think I could be so wrong, but let's call it under 20.
Yeah.
But her power in Orlando, she knows everybody
Yes.
because she was in the bar industry for so many years and now owns a beautiful Pilates studio or Legree
Yeah.
studio. So her presence in Orlando is powerful. Those two ladies truly convert people and allow me to recruit more patients. But anybody else, it's such a waste of time. You lose product, you lose overhead. It means nothing if you have 1 million followers to me.
Absolutely. And what I'll say too is that I have worked with like plenty of people that are like, I'll give you so much new business if you just work with me and you work on my website and blah, 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 blah. And there has been like 1 or 2 that I have seen consistently. There's one Skin by You, an esthetician influencer. They're launching like their own conference this year. They're kicking butt.
Oh yeah, they're killing it.
They're awesome, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
Skin by You is, I think they have 150,000, or they've just passed the 100,000 follower mark like this year. So it's not an insane. I mean, that is a lot of followers, but it's not an insane millions of whatever. And anytime they post us, anytime they post us on like a story, we'll have 40 to 50 sales calls booked that week.
Wow.
And I've seen plenty of people share me that are much larger, or have claimed that they have this massive influence in their audience. And I've never seen somebody be able to say, you guys should work with so-and-so, and them just take action.
Yeah, it's
And
not
Skin by You is a huge
quantity, right? It's quality. And does their audience match who you're trying to accrue, right?
Yeah. True influence. Do they have true influence?
I think that's so powerful. Well, I know I took so much from this conversation. I am ready personally to elevate my website and really have it represent who I want to be and how I want to show up for somebody who doesn't know me at all. Where can somebody find you if they're looking for Jared?
Yeah, so you can go to Jared Rohrs, JaredRoars, and follow me on Instagram, or you can go to our Instagram, our company Instagram, aesthetic.conversion, or go to aestheticconversion.com, aestheticconversion.com, and we have this like AI form that you can fill out on the site that tells you exactly how your website is doing. It does a full audit of your website and it compares you to your local market, and you fill it out, and then it'll give you like this, it'll spit out this huge report for you that you get like right on the spot. So if you're interested in working with us, or you just want to know a little bit more about what's actually happening on your site, fill that sucker out, and it'll be very eye-opening for you.
And that's what I love about you. You're always about adding value to people's lives, right? Ever since I met you, it's like your core theme, your energy around you is like, how can I pour into other people? And you just having that little website audit just shows exactly who you are, not only personally, but in business. And you're not just trying to capture somebody that's going to pay you immediately, but pour value back into them. And I think what you do for this industry is so powerful and so, so needed.
That's sweet. I want the industry to win, and I want you to win. I want every clinic owner to win, because private equity is coming in fast. They're already here, and they're coming in fast. And I'm passionate about beefing up the small business owner. I'm passionate about beefing up the solo injector that wants to still be competitive in a market that private equity is starting to saturate. And so things like that keep them strong.
Well, thank you for being here today. My first interview on the Orlando Injector channel.
Wonderful.
It's honestly a true blessing to call you my friend. So thank you. And if you guys have any questions, comment below with any marketing questions. I'll make sure they get to him. And thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Make sure you comment and subscribe and like.
And subscribe, guys.
And subscribe. And if you disagree with us in the comments, light us up. Feel free. I'll fight you in the comments. No problem.
We'll troll.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.